All right, Coach. Let's start with opening statement. Not your traditional spring game, but how did you think today went?
Today was an awesome day. Um, the weather was unbelievable. Did it get up to 83? They said it was going to get up to 83. It was blue sky. It was hot out there. I know that. It was unbelievable. All of our signees from Florida to Washington were all here with their families. Got to be introduced to the team, which was just phenomenal. We had some recruits that came early that we got to spend time with, and I think we had a bunch of people come, to watch the game. We had alumni here. We had the school's second ever ring ceremony. Started with our Ring of Honor with Jose Ramirez getting put up in the Ring of Honor. You've got to be on a 53-man NFL roster for an entire year or be named an All-American. And he was named an All-American by the Associated Press, by the Sporting News, and by Walter Camp. And so we got to reveal that today with the whole team there and then give out the famous Idaho Potato Bowl rings. So just a super neat deal. And then, so very different, the spring game became a spring situational scrimmage, two-hand touch, but, obviously nobody went to the ground and we stayed healthy and got everybody reps. And so, defense got some takeaways, I think, two in the 2-minute period, which was phenomenal. It's been a really good learning spring and development defensively. Offensively, our offensive line, a lot of the young guys got massive amount of work because we have had some guys out. And then, we got 3 quarterbacks that have been competing. And some new transfers that got here in January. And so overall, it was just it was a really good day.
Alex, you want to open us up?
Yeah, this is the first spring that you've had where, you get to have, where like your last few months are coming off a big bowl win. You haven't had that before. Last time your seasons have ended, if you won the season opener, it was great, but it wasn't in a bowl season. How has that kind of changed, like the vibe going into, this spring season and going into 2023?
Well, at the ring ceremony, we showed a bowl game highlight, and honest to God, it gave me chills. And I think part of that is because we hadn't thought about that. We talk about it in recruiting and all that, but it's not where we are headspace wise, which is a good thing, believe me. So it doesn't feel like a team that is coming off of a bowl win in the negative way. I think there's some juice and some energy. The final thought on the 22 season within our team, though, is that we failed what we set out to do. Even though, we won the Michigan MAC and we won the bowl game and tied for the MAC West, and lots of things happened that hadn't happened before or in a really long time. Those things were not, the final season goal. And so it's a really determined team right now.
One question that I did want to ask when we were out that way, but I figured I'd wait until now. There were a lot of times last year, especially after losses, where it's like, this game didn't define us. This game didn't define us. Like NIU game didn't define you. Buffalo game didn't define you. But there's a lot that goes with the bowl victory, of course. How does that one game help define the season that was?
Yeah, in terms of the 22 season, I don't think you can talk about the bowl game without talking about, Toledo. So the end of October, we had a chance to take the lead in the MAC West against a really good Toledo team, and it came down to the last, 2 minutes, and they beat us. We were up 3 with 2 minutes left, and they made some plays and ended up being MAC champs. And so, we had a 10-day wait until our next game, and we were some hurting puppies because we really, really wanted to win that football game, and then, take it one game at a time, stack them, and accomplish our goal. So we had to go out to Akron and, didn't play perfect or anything like that, but managed to pull out a victory there, and then went back out there to Kent State, and we were down. And that halftime, something happened to our football team, and came out and forced 6 straight 3-and-outs and scored every time we got the ball, and beat them. Reminded the team today that they gave us 27% chance to win that game. And then we come home, for a chance to win the Michigan MAC against Central Michigan. And so, our guys are carrying a trophy off the field and into the locker room and all of that. And then to be down 13-0 in the bowl game and then come back, score 30 straight and win that game. So it was Eastern Michigan football in that we stacked them, those last four, which was our theme. But it also showed, our resolve and just our toughness by mentally coming back from Toledo, being down Kent State, being down in the bowl game, but, finding out ways, to pull it off and sticking together throughout it. And so the bowl game, I think, was special for our guys for lots of reasons, but it was the fourth stack in a row. And, it was, ended up being the third trophy of the season. We got rings today, to prove it. So.
And your coaching staff too. Obviously, Bill Nethery, longtime friend of yours, he retired last year, and a bunch of other guys left for different reasons to different spots too. So your coaching staff looks like it's about half of it's new.
Yeah.
I mean, Tate's a second-time guy. What were you trying to find out of filling in those spots with new coaches, and how is things kind of worked out for them so far?
Yeah, so it's interesting going into season 10, and this goes way back to when I first got here. One of the most important things that I do is hire the right people, and we are emphatic about, obviously they've got to be expert coaches, but they've got to be great people, and all of us are far from perfect. But part of being a great person is caring about other people, and as a great coach, you've got to care about the guys that you're coaching and the people that you're working with, and we just have really good people. It makes it so much fun, and we don't do it any differently in recruiting. You know what I mean? And so we lost some really good people, 3 of them to the National Football League. Someone's got to put in some kind of clause that go find them somewhere else first. Right. But no, I'm so excited and proud for those guys. But there are lots of great people who are awesome football coaches. You know what I mean? And I think we had 150 emails. You know what I mean? When a job would come open and whatnot. And so, in a case of Coach Omley, I mean, he'd already been here and whatnot, and so that process can go quicker. And then when we, don't have that right fit right away, then we go through the process, and it's a lengthy process, and then we do the football part. I feel really good, about our coaching staff, and it is a lot of new faces. We had a recruiting family here that had been here like at the Toledo game, and we offered, their son soon after that, and they were here, I think late January, or early March. I can't remember which of those junior days. And they said, hey, some of the faces have changed, but the culture is as strong or stronger. And I don't think I'll ever forget that, because the people make the culture, and we continue to find people who really want to be here, and are great at what they do, and it's good.
Coach, you lost some depth on that wide receiver room. Hassan, is gone. Dylan's gone. But I seen some guys step up today. Hamza Elzayat, he looked great. Javion Swinton, Terry Lockett as well.
Yeah.
What do you hope for those guys this year as they step up into those big shoes?
Yeah, I put J.B. Mitchell in that boat too. Mm-hmm. So we have, Dylan Drummond and Hoss Beydoun, were, sort of, defined us, for so many years. And, Tanner coming back with DL, those are 2 guys who are experienced and play at a high level. And so Javon Swinton and Terry Lockett both came here in January, and so this was their 15th practice. But they're good fits and getting better, every day. And so super excited about them. And then JB, this next year will be his 3rd year. He knows what's going on. He's a good football player. And so he's got to step, into that next role. And then, Hams, he was with us a year ago, January, but then sustained, an injury. So he was out last year. And like it often works, in the moment, it's the end of the world, but it's a blessing in the end. Because he knows our program. He's been in it now for over a year and a half now, and he's going to have a really good season.
And then also, you guys are coming off a historic season. First bowl game win since, the 80s. You guys got, the Michigan MAC trophy for the first time since 2012. What, personally, what are some goals for you? And then also, what are some goals for the team?
Yeah. So in terms of the spring, we're a developmental program. We recruit high school and then fill guys in with the transfer portal or with junior college. And so we're always going to have, guys that we're doing that each semester, but we're still recruiting, high school people and developing them on and off the field. And so the spring, the goal and overarching, we have special teams and defense and offense and program and all that about our E-Tough and living our culture and just getting better. I mean, every day, each one of our guys has a one goal. They had a one goal for the spring, and some were academic and some were football, but it's just one, and something that you just, get after every single day. And so we just, all boats rise, just everybody getting a little bit better, closing the gap. As we get headed towards the fall, one of the things we got to get healthy. It's always the case. I mean, that's even from last season, even from last spring. We have guys who are still, getting healthy, but we will be healthy, for the fall. And then just really coming together. And we want to be our best. I'm never going to come off of that. And then winning is a byproduct of that. So within the season, we want to win a MAC championship. But that comes underneath being our best, And so if we get a group of guys that really, truly, intrinsically are motivated, to be, our very best, man, that's when the magic happens, and that's what we're going after.
And then last question, is there any update on the quarterback situation?
In terms of what?
In terms of, is you got a set starter, anything you've seen out there today from Austin, Cameron?
Yeah, so all three of those guys have been taking reps with the ones and twos. Austin was out for a little bit, nothing major. He, I think he started 4 games and played in 5 or 6 or whatever, and so he's got the most experience, and so he was in that. He's in that number 1 spot. Ike got here in January, and again, this is his 15th practice, so he's really done well. And then Cam is just so dynamic. I mean, you saw him keep one. I was behind him, so you can't tell as much, but if you're looking at it from sitting in the stands, I bet you it looked like he was moving pretty good. And so, it's really a 3-headed monster. And Jeremiah Salem, the longer he goes and the more he learns, he throws a really good ball and knows our offense and is coming along. So, all 3, all 4, all 5 of those guys, got to get better. Like today, we missed, and it's not just quarterbacks, but just, we got to get better. They all know that. But we also know, you can look at last year, you can look at any year, that, if you only have one quarterback, you're in trouble. And we think we're going to have 3 or 4, that we can win games with.
Anything else, Alex?
I'm good.
Coach, one last question before I get you out of here. The bling on your hand. I know you were significant in helping that, but a guy who's not here today has a great job now, and Tariq Spate's also part of that. Walk us through just how you guys came up with the concept of the ring.
Yeah, so Tariq is out in Utah, I think traveling with the men's track team right now, and killing it. It was so good to have so many of those seniors back today. And guys who are, gone 2 years or 3 years. I mean, it's a lot of people back. It was awesome. But miss Tariq not being here. But, he did significantly help design this ring. And, it's, there's lots of things that are special about it. It's got our theme on here. And, I don't know, the really significant thing about this ring is, on the side, it says stack 'em on the top. And then it's got the initials FR. And it was really important to all of us that he was on this. Coach Reed, coming up on his anniversary here and in less than a month. And so, it's a special ring for lots of reasons. Shout out Tariq for sure for, designing it and putting it together.